Yo, what's going on, everyone? I wanted to let you know that the next 4 out of 5 episodes that you'll be hearing were recorded in person at Pat's place on different equipment. So if there's a sudden change in audio quality, apologies. And that is the explanation. You know, I gotta say something about it. And second of all, the last thing, we finally got that 70-minute vlog, the tour of our hometown in Erie, Pennsylvania, up on the Patreon. If you'd like to check it out, you can go to patreon.com/reminiscent. It is available to all 3 tiers, everyone who subscribes to the Patreon. And it is a walking tour of all the places that Pat and I talk about on the show weekly. I had a lot of fun filming it. I put like 20 hours into the filming and editing and production of this video with Google Earth imagery and maps and landmarkers and all the locations that we talk about, getting a nice overhead view, seeing these places in relationship to each other, as well as me with the on-the-ground reporting and stories of the significance of these places. Again, if you'd like to check it out, you can head to patreon.com/reminiscent. But I don't want to take up too much of your time. Let's get into the draft. What is going on, everybody? I'm Tom.
And I'm Pat.
We're best friends, and you're listening to the Reminiscent Podcast. That's crazy.
That is a little crazy. Hey. We good? Keep going?
We are technically recording right now.
Oh. Near each other.
Near each other?
In each other's sightline.
Usually
it takes us a minute to warm up.
Right. It was weird the first time that we did. You came to my place in Asheville to record. I think we might have done 6 episodes in a day and a half to give me some time for the little baby.
Yeah.
And around this time, you were having a son of your own. So we're here to marathon some episodes. Different setup than normal, different microphones, different space.
Yeah, usually I can move in between me talking in my uncomfortable chairs I have at my house. But Tom is picking up audio together. Anyway, we have a couple drafts that we're going to record during this little marathon sesh. If you're hearing this, there's a chance you saw us live on YouTube not too many hours ago.
Ooh, that was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
We should do more live.
I'm glad you're here. We got a bunch of soft things in this guest bedroom of ours. And we're here to talk about Fall Out Boy. That is what we are here to discuss today. You guys have been asking for more drafts, and you seem to like the ones that center around an entire band. Gives us a little more breathing room instead of doing one based off of just an album, for example. I think we only tried that once. But Taking Back Sunday we've done. But I'm here to warn you that we'll do a Paramore 2 one. We'll do a Paramore 1 as well eventually. But do not expect to leave this with a good taste in your mouth, I wouldn't say. Tom and I, similar to our fandom for All Time Low, is not dissimilar to our fandom of just about every band we discuss. We are
the first 2 albums
intimately familiar. I think I go a little deeper on Fall Out Boy than Tom does. Let me start you here, Tom. Any hella mega FOMO after this summer, seeing pics on Twitter, things like that? As a Green Day boy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. I guess with Green Day, it's a little different. I love their first 5 albums. They went pretty deep into their career with absolute bangers. But I don't know Weezer that well. I don't know anything of Fall Out Boy from Infinity on High and Beyond. And Green Day.
Take note right there, folks. That's the X factor and why today is not going to be enjoyable for anyone involved.
But also, Green Day, it would be incredible to see them live. But they've done 19 albums since American Idiot. And what are the odds they play a bunch of those songs?
Only off of that Uno, Dos, and Tres albums.
Which some of them were pretty good, but also what are the odds of dying of Delta variant at Hella Mega Tour? So
yeah, keep seeing really fun pictures of, people have just been enjoying Fall Out Boy just playing a ton of songs off Take This to Your Grave, which we'll talk about today at length, if nothing else. And I don't know, Weezer has taken on this very fun open up the show act. I mentioned this recently, whether it was the live stream or whichever, but pretty fun. And anyway, we did a Hella Mega set list draft a while ago, maybe about a year ago, but then everything got pushed back an insanely large amount of time, which is to say that we're not really guessing the set list, but Fall Out Boy's top of mind again. And whoever is going to go first is going to get to pick Sugar We're Going Down Swinging, and then it's a shit show from there.
I love how I've noticed this a lot through the drafts where the song is called Sugar We're Going Down, but we call it Sugar We're Going Down Swinging, or we add like, we omit, like, I think we might say All American Rejects, but it's the All American Rejects. And sometimes I wonder if that hurts our credibility by like not saying the song title right. But does anyone? I don't know. I don't know. But I have some dice here, which Pat has felt for the first time.
And it's a fixed situation. These are not regulations. I wouldn't play Risk, the game of global domination, with these dice. I can tell you that much. They are weighted in a very peculiar way. And I'm starting to think me losing so many rolls over the past few months is not by accident. Tom would be shooed out of town had he been a character in the play titled Guys and Dolls. He would be a shyster and not trusted by Nathan Detroit. I can tell you that much, ladies and gentlemen. But we're going to keep using them because they are a part of the show now, and we were just having a good time. So,
well, you know what? I'm going to reach across the room. I'll let you roll these things, so you can't.
I don't want to touch them.
Please.
Actually,
it would be my honor.
Well, you have to edit out the noise somehow. So.
Oh wait, we didn't. We forgot to pick. I'll be. I never get to pick. I'll be evens. Yeah. Oh, you even rolled. It's a 5 and a 5. So shut your mouth. I'm gonna go second and third, actually, which is risky.
It depends. We haven't really been competitive. You know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to pick Tell That Mick, he just made my list of things to do today first.
Ooh, okay.
Because, actually, can I take it back? Now I'll go Sugar. I'll go Sugar. You went second and third thinking I was get cute. I'm not going to get cute. Yeah, Sugar We're Going Down. I can remember the Little League tournament. We had made it to regionals or states or something, and we drove from Erie to Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, and Corey Bartlett gave me his iPad mini or Nano or whatever it was, because I had seen the music video for the first time on MTV in the hotel room in Punxsutawney. It blew my mind, everything about it, and Corey was like, yeah, you've never heard about that? I'm like, damn, Corey Bartlett is up on music more than I am. I truly am lost in this world, and that was one of the first music recommendations I got. That wasn't from my dad, I'm pretty sure. So basically the first time I wasn't listening to like Queen or ZZ Top, I guess. But I sat in the hallway literally alone on the floor, just soaking it in. And it was tremendous. It changed everything. And thank you, Corey Bartlett, for... It was a pretty fun little tournament. We had some pretty good youth baseball teams back in the day, but obviously my mind was on other things as soon as I heard Patrick Stump's voice. And everything clicked a little bit. Something changed for sure. So it would be a disservice to not pick this first. And I know we've... In the band drafts, it's kind of like, oh, we don't just want to just like go hit, but like, I don't know. It's no time to be cute, especially if you're going second and third. There's a lot of value there in those picks. So I'm just gonna take a big one off the board, the obvious one, the right one, I think. I don't know if you agree necessarily, but yeah, that's the pick.
Yeah, you know, my fear with this draft is that I'm so intimately familiar with their first two records, but they've never been like a full album band for me. I love the bangers, and unapologetically so. So I was afraid of taking bangers only. So yeah, it does make it a little bit hard, but let's see what
Well, while you're looking at your phone and looking at your picks, it's been interesting. We talked about the history of the band a little bit, where it was kind of a project that Pat wanted to try to do some melody stuff, and Pete was going to be the star while he kind of sat back and did this project. But then the project kind of took over the world, and they were huge. But there was definitely the Van era days, and we did a little bit into the Fall Out Boy emo-verse music video stuff a few months back, where we talked about, obviously The Little Less 16 Candles, which is basically a great short horror film. And then, of course, the music videos for Dance Dance and then This Ain't a Scene, which are kind of like come one after the other and show kind of the trajectory of the band. Now they're hella mega. The boys have gone hella mega, and but they're still just kind of spinning and kind of seemingly in touch with what they used to do. Watching them at Hella Mega Tour, clips on Twitter of them just yelping the chorus to Saturday into a sea of adoring fans is, I don't know, it's heartwarming.
Okay. Yeah, it is crazy how some bands start just being like, no one's going to listen to this, and then they are playing Hell Omega 20 years later.
Right. Yes.
Well, you already named it. I actually think my favorite Fall Out Boy song might be A Little Less 16 Candles, A Little More Touchy.
Oh my God. Interesting pick.
After Sugar We're Going Down.
We're only going to pick from under the Cork Tree songs.
So a few months ago, I tweeted like Sugar We're Going Down is the best song of all time. And I think it was Adrian that was like, that's not even the third best song on that album.
Yes.
And he might not be wrong. I mean, this is a very good album.
That was our freshman year album. So we were like exposed to that first. I went back in time to listen to Take This to Your Grave, but
yes,
Cork Tree introduced itself first.
So yeah, this to me is very sophomore year of high school. This would have been Adam, who was the other guitarist in our band, who introduced me to Taking Back Sunday and Brand New, also introduced me to Fall Out Boy. It was weird. Like I had heard Sugar We're Going Down on the radio and adored it. We played it at our mock show when we were 12, in my mom's living room. But I at that time, living in a world of singles, sometimes it was hard to comprehend that like bands put out full albums, not just like the one song you heard on the radio. So I think like a year later or something, I found out they had 2 albums, and just like, for some reason, this is AP World History, Mr. Lasher's class. These 2 albums. I remember being in his class, he like let us listen to music as we took tests, which would have been the easiest way in the world to cheat, and we didn't for some reason. Now that I think about it, it was the hardest class ever. But no, I mean, from Under the Cork Tree was such a huge album for me, and 16 Candles. I don't know. Like, I set my clocks early because I'm always late. We talk about like the weird specifics in Motion City's songs. I think this album captures some of that energy, but also like, so when it first starts off, it's not like as catchy, but then as soon as you get to like the second part of the first verse, because you're just the girl all the boys want to dance with, and I'm just the boy who's had too many chances. As a very shy child my whole life, afraid of upsetting anyone, I like never went after the girl, and I felt like really emotionally connected to that line in particular. And after doing the music video directed by Alan Ferguson, just seeing how incredible this band is and how lightly they took themselves, I think made me appreciate the song on an even deeper level. You got to love a good palm mute verse, and everything about this song is just like so what you go to Fall Out Boy for, that I feel like it had to be my first pick. But I do think the music video, after kind of recently discovering that for the show, does set the song up even more for me in a better way.
And I like the video that them with vampire powers allowed them, because music videos shaped how we viewed them in general. We talk about some of the stage performance stuff, but we've joked about this before, but the spinning and Pete jumping and everything like that was just like, in this world where they're vampires or whatever, their strengths become intensified, but like it allowed them to kind of like lay the groundwork and get ahead of the narrative surrounding their own like lore. So it's kind of like, oh yeah, they spin. Wow, now they're really spinning as vampires. So kind of like by being, I don't know, obviously they have so many movie references throughout their catalog, so many this and that just kind of like, they were kind of maybe inherently interesting to teens or something. I don't know. It was a lot of things all at once, but it's a good pick. There's so much about that song and video in particular that was just interesting about. Well, there's a million things that were interesting about from Under the Cork Tree, but that's definitely one of them.
I saw really good, it was like a GIF. You know how like sometimes those videos of dogs about to be fed dinner surface where they spin in a circle real fast? I think someone just captioned it like Fall Out Boy's first 3 music videos or something. It was so good.
Yeah, super accurate. I do remember playing, I don't know if it was 16 Candles or Sugar We're Going Down, but it was like our first battle of the bands as a high school garage band. And no one was there. And it was essentially our sound check, but then they just let us play our set because they were like, let's just get these guys out of the way. It was tough to tell the difference, but we were playing one of those 2 songs. And I remember having fun because it was our first time on a stage and we were like, oh, this must be what it is. We're just doing the thing. Apparently not well, but I don't remember caring very much. I just remember seeing you and Zach so happy. I was so happy. Adam, because we had practice pretty hard.
Yeah.
And probably played a pretty decent cover set of a few Fall Out Boy songs and Blink songs. I don't think we had very many originals yet, but there was a few people in the crowd just kind of bobbing their head like, oh, did they start? And then like We had no stage presence to be like, hey,
No.
you know, like if you're here, you should be up here. You know,
Yeah,
like,
we just kind of started playing.
yeah, like there could, if any chutzpah at all would have garnered us a few more points, but we were just like having too much fun and too excited that we just ended before people knew we'd started pretty much. But I remember that being like a particularly joyous moment.
I also remember feeling like such a rock star that we got out of school early to play a rock show at the college.
Oh, was that the first one? This one might have been the second one then, because it was at the Hangout. There was a battle of the bands
no,
at
the hangout was quite a bit later.
Oh, okay. So we were bad for a while then.
We were bad for like 4 years. I think the day we broke up was probably when we finally got it going.
I do remember Zach went through a particular breakup
Ooh,
that led to like
the best music
expanded our catalog by double, and all of our best songs were in that brain dump.
For sure. Man.
An interesting experiment. Anyway, it's a fond memory nonetheless.
Yeah. Okay. I think for my number 2 pick, I'm gonna go Nobody Puts Baby in the Corner.
Okay, it's not a bad move to double down on Cork Tree songs 1 and 2. I respect it. I'm angry about it a little bit, but the floor is yours.
So I don't like the verses of this song very much, which God.
Careful.
You put the pitchforks away, people. I don't think they write the best verses.
Oh my God.
But they write the best choruses.
Okay. I knew you were going to unleash some nonsense today. I just didn't know what form it was going to take. Do you mind repeating that or explaining yourself?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like people go to Patrick Stump for the theatrics. And I feel like, you know, the verses are like arguably the less important part of the song. I mean, a great song should have great verses, great choruses, great bridge, whatever. But he really like hits the pop element on the choruses, and he experiments a little bit more with like the theatrics and the verses. And maybe there's just like something inherently that's not as catchy about some of the verses, but like that's okay because they're still good. And this is also kind of an interesting song where like there's no, I don't know, it's just like the same verse repeated twice and then they double down on the chorus. But the chorus is so great. It's very Fall Out Boy with the quick vocals, very fast paced. The music drops out for the first few hits and it's just the keep quiet, nothing comes as easy as you. And it's like, this is like a song that I really enjoyed. Like everyone kind of knew it as one of the more popular ones. And it was the kind where like people would just like be standing in a circle singing the song out loud to each other. And like no one could sing it as fast as he did. And it just turned into like this utter mess of people trying to sing this song. I don't know. There's something about it that's just like, it really sweeps me away. You know, as I was like prepping for this episode, I realized a lot of the reasons why I love Fall Out Boy, I'm having a really hard time putting it into words, which is not great for a podcast.
You mentioned that earlier while we were gathering notes, and I said, well, you're gonna have to try.
It's really hard though. Like I don't know. There's just something about it. Like
it's not like other episodes aren't just us saying we just really like it.
Cough, cough, Mayday Parade, but
which I had a lot of fun
for almost 2 hours. I just really love this album. But I don't know. It's like it makes every cell in my body feel like it needs to move on the choruses, and
something about it works.
It's just, yeah, I don't know. Can't.
I can see why they like if you're going up in the Chicago hardcore scene or whatever, as the story goes, you could see why they're like, this might be a little too theatrical to work, but it's a side project. I think Pete's going to be in, or whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever the conversations were. Turns out people just adored it. But that's an interesting pick. Doubling down. I'm gonna come right at you with my next few picks. Are you mentally prepared for this?
Also, something about they're lighting a match, baby. They've got they're lighting matches. It's a great bridge.
Match. If you're drinking along, don't. It's unsafe considering how many rules we've developed over the last 5 years. But yeah, a match has been struck. So I think you got to finish your drink at that point.
Also, there's like, I love the line, wear me like a locket around your throat. Great alliteration. I didn't realize how murdery this song was, though. It basically just feels kind of like it could have been a bonus track on your favorite weapon. They have the very specific car accident stuff that they write about. So I guess I didn't realize how intense the line "You look so good in blue" is. But
well, let's do this now. Your theory about like the Venn diagram of Fall Out Boy and Taking Back Sunday and Brand New, like, you're not surprised we all liked those three. You think there are many parallels. Do you care to elaborate now or later?
Oh, there's more parallels. We'll
touch on that.
We'll let them roll out.
Tom's got a theory coming up in 10, right after the break here on Odyssey, formerly radio.com.
Check out the new Hyundai Sonata, 27 miles per gallon.
Because the deals are so good.
And we're back.
If you ever find you're up on the Honda Auto Mile, stop by. My name's Rick, and I'm going to put your ass in a car.
Oh, my God, dude.
Because the deals are so good. It's car salesman in the Cleveland area when I was living there. Those commercials were just everywhere on the radio, and I adored them. It was such a simple text. That's the deals are so... I know. Bless that man. I don't know anything about him. Maybe he's bad. Maybe he's great. I don't know. Moving on. Give me This Ain't a Scene, It's an Arms Race. And here's why, Tom. It's a good song. It's a great song. It's maybe one of their best songs. You sit your ass down, mister. They don't write good verses. We just kind of blew past that fucking heater. Yeah, I think Infinity on High, I'm going to pick a few songs from that album today. I think it's... I didn't realize how much I had loved it. I revisited it recently, not in preparation for this necessarily, but I was like, oh my God, yeah, this is a front to back, and I really love it dearly. There's a lot of thought and care that went into it. And This Ain't a Scene, to your point about just something about it just makes me want to move. The music video is fantastic, kind of telling the story of the band or whatever, going back to their roots, just trying to get, in the business of Patrick, just, lyrics about working the room, getting people to sing, whether it's getting out of a van and doing that in a gymnasium in Iowa, doing it at the Hangout in Erie, Pennsylvania, or doing it on the Hella Mega Tour. That's just the business they're in. I imagine, there's more than like in Erie, there was like four to six real bands that would show up to most shows. I imagine there were more than 4 to 6 in Chicago. So you hear it in Springsteen songs, you hear it in all types of music. It can get intense, striving for the fame or whatever. So, but they're just, that's the business they're in. And this song rips pretty fundamentally, I think. It's hard. It's a toe tapper. It's great. Spin Your Little Asses Off, Fall Out Boy. I love this song, and it's my pick. And then I'm going to follow that up with Tell That Mick He Just Made My List of Things to Do Today, which I almost accidentally picked first, but I could have gotten a much better value on my draft pick, I'm learning, because this is pick 5 overall in the early in the third round here. They love their movies, folks, don't they? They just love them. And I think like, we've said this on the show before that like I listened to emo music in high school so I could learn about all of those people's movie preferences and could catch up on that list in college. But yeah, Rushmore ended up being, pretty typical Fall Out Boy fan who just kind of looks at the titles of the songs and watches immediately just to get a little more insight into the band, where their heads were at. You had mentioned this. There's a lot of strange violence on Take This to Your Grave. Maybe the angst meter was popping off a little more early in the career. Maybe a lot more. Maybe like an insane amount more. Maybe a troubling amount. But yes, Light That Smoke, One for Giving Up on Me. There's car crashes. There's suffocation or strangulation, I guess. It's very intense. If you're looking for angst, look no further. And it's a good album opener. There's an energy, there's a thing about what they do when they're doing it well, which is often, that just hits the ears in a certain type of way. And I'm going to keep picking songs. Tom's over there looking through his notes, so he must be plotting some. I usually don't get to see him looking through his notes, so I'm just like giving my take. I guess.
Watch me furiously type on an iPad.
Well, it's definitely probably like a vanity or overconfidence thing where when we're not in person, I just picture Tom like on the edge of his seat, like listening to what I have to say.
No, I usually am. I'm just not as prepared for this episode.
It's like, am I butchering my Tell That He Just Made My List of Things to Do Today take? I didn't write it out word for word, but I thought I had some things to say. No, I'm stealing your takes from 2 rounds ago where something about it works and there's an energy to This Ain't a Scene and Tell That Mick that it's explosive. It's hella mega. It's amazing. They can slow it down as well, but there's nothing like, they're a good rock out in the car band, and the songs I've picked so far would have been played loud as I was driving around with my learning permit.
Windows down?
Sure. I mean, if they're not down for Fall Out Boy, then they were never down, which is maybe the case. It's not super my style. I think we learned during the Mayday episode, it was usually loud so that you're not bothering residents of your town as you drive by, right, often. So, but I'll say for the sake of the game, windows down for all the above.
Alrighty. So I was going to get cute and pick Sugar We're Going Down third, so I didn't seem like a casual picking the banger first.
You're such a casual, dude. How's it feel to be a casual?
Oh, boy.
As we are a pair of casuals picking only songs off the first two albums for a draft that should be involving their entire catalog in theory.
Give me... Give me Grand Theft Autumn.
It's a good pick.
First Take This to Your Grave pick. It turned into a meme for
you.
like a second. Oh God, what was it? I don't know. I don't remember well enough to even tell the story, but like you've got Yaz in the chorus, and those are just the best.
Well, our buddy Adam would be like, "Oh, did you hear that? Yeah, I love that word." He's just like, "Yeah," and it was just like, "Oh, dude, it just fires me up." And I was like, "There's something so endearing about him noticing those little things," and that is essentially the type of conversation that happened hundreds of times over in Tom's basement. But picking out those little things and just celebrating them to no end.
And now we do it here, 15 years later, and
Indeed. That's
just so amazing. No, I'm a huge sucker for like the 2-hit guitar part in the chorus. Da-da, da-da. It's like kind of breakdowny, and this is just so like, this is so Patrick Stump being Patrick Stump.
Would you dare to say a little flamboyant with the lyrics, like some of that melodic stuff that maybe the hardcore scene wouldn't have allowed them to get after?
So thinking of our pop rock band, I mean, obviously it was Slim Pickens in Erie, Pennsylvania with only 90,000 some residents, but we were pop rock, pop punk in 2005 when everything was very metalcore before metalcore was metalcore. Right. And
we were on a crash collision course toward a very attack world.
Yes. And we were the opening act for all of those bands. And it was brutal. People openly mocked us from the crowd because they came to watch Skissis Mary play. Do you remember them? Just very... and then we're like, yeah. So people hated us. And I wonder if Chicago was big enough to allow for, more than one genre at a time.
We obviously still weren't great. We had a great time doing it, but I would imagine there would have at least been more than a show to be on every week.
Yes.
Perhaps 2 or more, where you could maybe slant the bill to be a little friendlier to what you were going to hear that night. Instead of like, oh, the guys, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. But yeah, there would have been at least more than a show every weekend to be like, oh, is your band on the show this weekend? Cool. Like, who's playing? All of them.
I remember we played like 2 Saturdays in a row, and Zach was like, are we on tour? Just like,
it felt great.
It was amazing. It was the best I've ever felt. But no, this song is also like a very good. So these 2 albums stuck with me all through high school. Like I was listening to them the most sophomore year. But my senior year, Hannah, who was a year ahead of us, went off to college. And the line, "You were the last good thing about this part of town," really hit harder than it ever has before.
Also, shout out to the video game Grand Theft Auto and its cultural impact, seemingly, across various mediums.
Where a 7-year-old can beat someone to death with a dildo. For better or for worse, it was a very big part of our culture. So.
It was around. It was around.
There. Man, those games, oh, yeah. Now that I have a son,
drop the take. Like, what were you going to say? Those games were what, Tom?
Were really fun. But like, would I want my son playing it at 14 like I did? Probably not. And it was also different when, like, I remember my stepbrother had it for Game Boy Color. It was top down. The graphics were shit. It was 16-bit, I think, at that point. It's a little different when people started looking like real people and you can see the blood pouring out of them.
There's always some lore in San Andreas about being able to see Sasquatch if you rode your motorbike up into the mountains far enough. And I just remember my friends and I for hours just searching to see if that was true without like thinking to look it up on a blog or anything like that. Just like, I heard it from a guy, so let's just drive around for hours instead of Googling it.
That YouTube has kind of sullied video games for me because my patience for like figuring stuff out on my own is waning every single day. Not that I play games a lot, but like
a little bit. And do you find that in the music thing too? Because Apple Music is what we share an account for the show, and it puts stars next to albums. When you open up an album for the first time,
right,
your mind is immediately altered because you're like, oh, somebody made the decision that these 2. And over time, you learn who is wrong and who isn't. But when you're fresh, it's like, uh-oh. So like, these better be good or else I'm not, like, it's kind of jarring in that way.
Well, like, I just remember I've played Ocarina of Time probably 4 times at this point, and anyone who's played that game knows the water temple is pure unadulterated torture. And I remember playing it. This would have been the summer going into 8th grade. I think it was my second time playing. And I had printed out an FAQ sheet for the water temple, and it was legitimately 64 pages of 8.5 by 11 computer paper of like a walkthrough guide. And it was so like, even with the cheats, it was so hard to tell where you were in this document and how to get there. So like, even when you had the cheats back in the day, it was hard. Now you can hop on YouTube and just play along with someone who knows every move that you have to make. It's kind of like, by my own doing, cheapened the video game experience. But it's, I don't know.
The worst part of this tragedy is that you wrote it yourself, Tom.
That's very succinct. Thanks, Pat.
So, I just came up with that on my own.
Is that my second pick? No, it's my first. I'm not keeping track here. What did I even pick? Grand Theft Auto?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Second pick. This is going to be my fourth pick, actually. Give me Saturday. If for no other reason than the juxtaposition of the falsettos at the end and the very guttural screaming.
And you like songs about people not having a great time on the weekend, I've learned.
Yeah, I like songs that make me feel like trash. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, so when I think of this song, it's been so long since I've listened to any of these that I was kind of like, oh yeah, like, how's this one all go? But like, I very specifically remember the falsetto at the end, the screaming. And this was like before I was getting into bands like Norma Jean and stuff. So like, screaming was such a novelty that it was like, oh, that's a song that screams. And that's like, I don't know, it always stood out to me. But yeah, it's about like, I can't sleep. I don't know. Again, not great at articulating why I love these songs, but there was something that made so much sense senior year. And even just listening through these songs again to prep for the episode, it's like, I can't quite put my finger on it, but it just makes so much sense to me. Music video was directed by Shane Drake, friend of the pod. Yeah, I mean, just a really good track off of Take This to Your Grave. I don't know. I just love it. I just really love it. All right, buds, give me a minute to shout out our top tier Patreon supporter. These are our Council of Elders. In this group, we have Andre Prevost, Johnny Leftwich, Jason Carey, Anonymous, Chris Lukey, Nathan Eshelman, Drew Edwards, and Carrie Sanchez. Thank you all so much for supporting the show, and thank you to everyone in our Patreon. If you, dear listener, would like to support the show, you can head to patreon.com/reminiscent, where we give weekly post shows, behind the scenes videos, photos, content suggestions for new episodes. And like I said at the top of the episode, there is a brand new 70-minute walking tour / vlog of all the places in Erie where Pat and I grew up that are significant to us and to the show. A few people have said they really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making it. I put a ton of effort into making it fun and something exciting for the people who have never been to our hometown, because why would you be? Again, that's at patreon.com/reminiscent. You can see the 3 tiers we offer. The video is available to everyone. Thank you all so much. We love you. Thank you for listening, and back to the show.
I'll carry on that. I'm going to pick Beat It, their cover of Beat It with featuring John Mayer next.
Another friend of the pod.
Yes. The falsetto, right. So there's a certain amount of like the Where Is Your Boy stuff, a little theatrical, a little definitely 2000s emo, a decade where Dashboard Confessional was being celebrated and put on Spider-Man soundtracks, things like that. The falsetto, not exactly super hardcore, exactly the scene they grew up in or whatever, allegedly, as the story goes. Beat It, it's a cover. I think my larger point here is you talk about something that makes you want to move. I think there's maybe like that melodic sensibility and everything. Like, I think they're more versatile than maybe, I don't think we've said that out loud on the show, but I think it's very possible that Fall Out Boy is tremendously versatile. And I think this cover speaks to that a little because they rip it. John Mayer's solo is so incredible, which, maybe that should, maybe it should not influence which songs we pick on a Fall Out Boy draft specifically for that band. But I think really my larger point here is they could just like, oh yeah, we'll do this super well. Also, that song lends itself to being just a super rocking, amazing tune. but they do it well. I always like Patrick Stump's features on like certain Gym Class Heroes covers and songs like that. And he's on one of my favorite Motion City soundtrack songs. And he's just like, I think what I wanted to carry over from, he holds his own on Beat It. Obviously, Michael Jackson is a talented individual.
That's ambitious to cover. I think we've talked about like, there's just some songs that you have to leave alone. Like anyone who covers Bohemian Rhapsody, looking at you, Christopher Drew, is just like asking for a career-ending blow. Maybe not that dramatic, but like to cover Beat It or like Michael Jackson when you're like, not to say Fall Out Boy is just a pop punk band, but like I could see society being like, what are these like, you know, less than musicians and artists covering the king, the literal king of pop, not Brendan Urie.
I think it's like a serviceable cover. And I think my real takeaway here and what I've been kind of circling over the past 3 to 4 minutes is a quick shout out to Stump's vocals. I don't think we've ever really talked about that on the show, or maybe we have, where it's just like, maybe some of this stuff's tough to pull off live every night. I don't know if he's like nailing it like Adele might on a night to night basis, but like it's in there and it makes some of their tracks really sing. Especially when he spreads those wings, which I imagine like you can't reach those heights without taking the chances they've taken. So I think coming off your falsetto pick, I just wanted to at least address that. Like, there's more to like. Stump contains multitudes, man. I love that guy.
No, I mean his voice was very polarizing, and it was because he does these like the vocal runs, and it's very. People hated him because he was talented in a genre that typically caters to, or, you know, it was seen as like very simple. Anyone can do it. And he was pushing the boundaries of what was like acceptable or common in the genre. And he was definitely an outlier. And I think, you know, it probably took a while for him to be respected, but only because he's so much better than everyone else at what he does, which seems like a weird thing to be upset about, but he's great and very, one of the most unique voices in the genre. And it kind of like on paper shouldn't work, but he just nails it every time.
Is this my fifth? Is this my last?
Yeah.
We're going 5. This makes it entirely harder.
I know, because there's 2 I really, really want.
Okay. Wow, this sucks. I knew we were going to only do 5 for this one, and we were really, to avoid like belaboring the point that we aren't super familiar with their shit.
But also the biggest fans of the stuff we are familiar with, which is like a really weird position to be in.
We'll do the honorable mentions though, and there's a few later career ones that I do adore, but don't belong in my top 5. And I think people who are Fall Out Boy fans aren't going to like flame us for not picking Uma Thurman over this next song I'm going to pick, which I got to go 7 Minutes in Heaven.
Oh,
From Under the Cork Tree might be my favorite album of all time. It's got to be top 3, if not my favorite. I've never started at the beginning. Even track 1 of that album should have made my top 5. It's like a pretty slept on album opener, in my opinion. Even the songs with big payoffs at the end are good for the first half as well on that record, in my eyes. But 7 Minutes in Heaven, there was too much relatable high school stuff to not just love it so much. Another contender here might have been Sophomore Slumber, Comeback of the Year. But I think 7 Minutes in Heaven, for me, was The Dances on the Wall. It was Not Doing Too Well on Your Own. It was just like, you know, obviously we talk about it on the show all the time. All these songs are about me specifically. Thank you, Patrick Stump and Pete Wentz and company and Andy and everybody for writing this about me so that I could get through my Tuesday a little better. No. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've listened to this album front to back, but 7 Minutes in Heaven, it's splitting hairs, but I'll pick it because you already picked some of the ones that are enjoyed by both of us the same. But that's my 5th pick. Man, capping this at 5 is a heartbreak. And I am very much regretting my pick of Beat It now, because I, in my head, was making room for 7. But I'm okay with it because we were able to compliment Stump's vocals as a result. So little entertainment value. And we'll hit the rest we like in the honorable mentions. But that'll be my 5 for now, and I'll pass it back.
Yeah, this is hard because
I should have picked more off Infinity. I'll just let you go, and then we'll do the honorable mentions because it all ends up on the playlist at the end.
Yeah. No, it's hard because like there's 2 that I would really, really love to have on here, but I think...
Damn, I would not have picked Beat It, but it's over now because I already made a pick. It's like taking your finger off the chess piece.
It's over, man. It's over.
The worst part of this tragedy is I wrote it myself. If you're just joining the show, that's the name of one of the songs we really liked in our band.
It was great. Yeah, I have a mix of it somewhere.
Fun. It was super fun.
Maybe we can close the show down with it.
It was like Tom's first song that he wrote.
It was my second full song we wrote for the band because I wrote Girl Next Door.
Yes.
But I remember we were recording at Zach's house with Jared Catoni, where like we recorded everything like multi-track.
Do you remember how he mic'd your drum for that?
Was it just like one mic over the top of it?
It ended up sounding...
Everything was out of time, I remember.
Seth was like, when we got to school, Seth with the great emo hair, our buddy from Academy, was just like, it almost sounds like a techno beat because all the sounds are clumped together in this one plane.
So bad.
I'm wondering if you had a vivid memory or not now that you're an audio engineer.
Well,
he was even close to getting it right.
No. I mean, first of all, he was probably 14 years old. So I don't want to flame him too hard.
Right. And I think we paid him in a couple slices of pizza and like $10 or something.
Right. So I do remember he had a sonic maximizer, and Zach just loved that phrase. But we had the song called The Show. I want to watch the AK. Oh, actually, this might be some fun post-show stuff.
Yeah, we'll talk about that recording session.
But anyway, he had these recordings that, I mean, were just absolutely terrible. And like, I didn't play drums to a click track. I'd never even heard of it before. So I was just kind of playing whatever. And then he kind of just put the guitars and the vocals wherever he wanted. And like everything was out of time. It was like 4 different people playing 4 different songs at once is kind of what it ended up sounding like. But anyways, I wrote that song Tragedy while I think Zach was downstairs recording his guitar. It was like me and Adam. Maybe you were there.
It's interesting you say that because later there was a song Zach and I wrote called "Live from New York" years later. That was written while he was laying some vocals down during that one summer we would see you in DC so much years later. Yeah. It's interesting when you're just sitting around doing it and you get a little moment to yourself to expand on an idea. It's kind of fun. Then you bring it back and they're like, oh wait, shit, where'd this come from? Let's work on this next. And you kind of like get excited about something new. And what's tough about being adults is, we don't get a full like month to like live in a, you know what I mean? Or 2 weeks even, if we're going by Panic at the Disco Fever standards, to really just like live in that headspace and finish even 8 tunes. But well, yeah, a lot of more Foreign Apart memories than I thought that were going to come out today. But
well, I mean, so when we were,
I know you're just delaying your pick because you don't know, you don't have a 5th favorite Fall Out Boy song.
Well, also, I mean, when we were listening to Fall Out Boy was when we were like trying the hardest with the band, and we were so inspired by Fall Out Boy that I think naturally just brings all those back. But there's 2 songs that I should pick. I'm gonna go with Sophomore Slump or Comeback of the Year.
Love it. Sunset in My Veins, man. This would have been amazing.
To me, this is a bonus track of Deja Entendu based on the lyrics alone, where the therapist pumping through your speakers, delivering just what you need. We're well read. How did he sing this live? We're well read and poised. We're the best boys. We're the chemists who found the formula to make your heart swell and burst. No matter what they say, don't believe a word. It's a really, really, really fun song.
Damn, now I wish I would have picked that one.
But what I'm here for is the bridge. The best part of Believe is the lie.
It's still how I spell the word believe in my head to this day.
What do you mean?
The best part of Believe, and so it's BELIE, not BELEI or something like that. So I just like
the lie
the
right
best
in the middle.
part of Believe, and then I write the word lie in the middle as I'm writing it.
Nice. I don't like this song is one where like it's good out of the gate, but if you stick around, you're like rewarded even more. And it's a song about outgrowing your hometown. How could you not love it? My question to you is, so we're from this like very depressed former steel mining town in Northwest Pennsylvania.
The steel stuff was a little south.
Oh,
of
not
us.
steel.
We were
paper.
more taking this steel and probably sending it on the water over to places like Cleveland and Detroit.
Either way, we're like on the fringes of Rust Belt, and like it used to be a booming industry. Now it's just kind of like,
I imagine,
a little sleepy.
The stuff that was left over when we were there was some locomotive stuff and some paper mill stuff.
Sure. And then the paper mill shut down and everyone lost their job. But anyway, it was pretty depressing. It's on the upswing now, but it was not a booming industry. So when we listened to songs about leaving this town, it was like, yeah, because this place sucks. But like, is there almost less like credibility, or they're from Chicago, right? I feel like that place probably, it could probably feel small if you've lived there your whole life, but like, is it harder to outgrow Chicago than it is to outgrow Erie? Like if someone from New York City or LA is talking about like want to leave this town. It's so washed up. Like, you can't outgrow New York City. Can you outgrow Chicago?
New York City's dying, dude. It's dead.
But like, I don't know. Is it weirder to hear bands from like a legitimate top 10 city saying like we're outgrowing?
Everyone, I don't know, man. Everyone likes to feel like the place they were 10 years ago was back when that place was the realest. So, and you can keep whatever friends around you handpick to keep those narratives alive in your own head. So,
Okay.
I think because we wrestled with this on a personal level, and maybe we save this for the post show. I think what's your question? The exact question.
Is it weirder to hear bands talking about leaving this washed up city when it's like a
No, I think it's just
city?
like being young. I mean, I know I mentioned Springsteen probably too much for a pop punk podcast, but everyone who's 19 wants to leave point A and go to point B, regardless of what city they want to leave. I think one of our buddies was married to a person who had been in the Chicagoland area forever. And, you know, if you're anywhere for too long and haven't seen point B, I think there's always going to be a desire to be like, well, if I've only seen point A forever, regardless of what that point A, I mean, like the grass is always greener. There's literally sayings about like the human perception of what that situation is, right? So for growing up in the area, it's like, you guys are pissed off about being in Chicago? Like, is anyone happy anywhere? You know what I mean? Like,
right. Because that's where I want to escape to.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. So I would say what's interesting about Erie is with the cost of living and the freshwater resource right there, and a little bit of industry coming back and everything. Your dad's pretty high on the that area of the lakeshore. He's like, snatch it up, man.
Well, his property value like went up 40% with the pandemic. So he's like, why are you not my neighbor?
He's got a beautiful farm off one of the state highways that runs along the lake. He's got a very nice setup. But,
it's amazing. I want to die.
But yeah,
there.
15 years ago, it would have been cost like 40 cents probably there.
Yeah. No, I mean, he bought the house.
I'm exaggerating, but obviously.
He bought the house at an auction. It's like a 1902 farmhouse with like 5 bedrooms, a barn just as big.
And you can see the lake.
5 acres. You could throw a rock into the lake. And I think it was like $60,000.
Anyway,
or something.
I took us way off track. Your final pick is duly noted.
Yeah.
I think anyone who's young wants to leave point A, and regardless of where they are, I don't think it's weird. I think it's probably pretty natural. And go have an experience that they brag about when they go to the third place later and say, well, you know, we just couldn't stay. Or I don't know. Everyone turns 30. We're learning.
It's a nice place to raise a kid.
Okay, honorable mentions, rapid fire. Let's hit it.
My first one was
Dance.
Okay, yeah.
Should have been picked higher. It's a great song.
Patron Saint of Liars and Fakes was like
For what reason again?
a lot of them.
You pulled out a lyric that you really liked.
Yes. So if you listen to the chorus, and when this all goes to hell, will you be? Sounds an awful lot like. And will you tell all your friends you've got your gun? It's like
That's another Adam special. I think.
It's the same melody, it's the same rhythm, and you even get the yeah at the end of it, just like in Q without the E. Sing like it would be a great YouTube mashup that I'm surprised probably hasn't happened yet. But
whenever we say shit like that on the show, we look it up after we're done recording.
And there's like 1,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, like, so the lead guitar throughout the chorus. I'm not that great at guitar, and whenever I try to write music, nothing ever gets published, so I keep reusing some of the same riffs and lead lines. And I always do, like, the only lead line I'm capable of writing is basically just a lead line from the song. It's just great. I love it. The way the chorus starts with him just yelling, so all the music drops out again, and it all comes back together. Great bonus track off of your favorite weapon.
We'll explore the Fall Out Boy Taking Back Sunday brand new Venn diagram in future episodes. But yeah, you dropped 2 pretty intense takes today that we'll have to expand on at some other date. Fall Out Boy writes bad verses.
I didn't say bad.
Which is pretty fucking wild to even suggest. I still feel like you're getting off easy on that one. And that Venn diagram, I'm very intrigued by that because there are similarities. You did some good research for this show, Tom. Give me Hum Hallelujah and Thriller off of Infinity on High. Hum Hallelujah was extremely my shit because if you've ever been a teen, you've been in a parking lot somewhere wishing you were in a better spot. And yeah, what's not to love? Also, I'll toss in I'm Like a Lawyer with the way I'm always trying to get you off. Me and You, that is exactly the type of sappy melodic crap that was so amazing about being a teen and having the pleasure of listening to new Fall Out Boy records.
Give me Dead on Arrival. I super love that song. Patrick really knows how to write a chorus. it's just, yeah, I mean, I love the line, I know I'm not your favorite record, but like, the songs you grow to like never stick at first. And to me, that's just like a really great metaphor for like, please just give me another chance. You know,
this
like,
is side one. Flip me over.
Right. So good.
Really good. Yeah. Yeah. Like maybe we should be gloating more about the lyrics, Fall Out Boy lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had the Thriller thing, Infinity on High. I think you should give it a chance because I think you were intrigued. We were listening to that earlier. You were like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, that's interesting that they did the, I wouldn't call
You get that,
like, your basic hardcore, whatever.
You get that.
I'm going to pick two late career ones here. Uma Thurman off of American Beauty, American Psycho. They are indeed movie fans. People, I guess we're just all members of the same generation. Like, oh, Wes Anderson, Quentin Tarantino, I love their movies, Coen Brothers. And give me, you know what? I'll throw Centuries on there. The heavy metal broke my heart line. I enjoy it. Sue me. Heavy metal broke my heart.
Give me a Reinventing the Wheel to run myself over.
Great song title.
If for no other reason, that's so great.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Pretty emo.
Yeah, I mean, I felt
emo band? Question mark.
I feel like we're just gonna have this.
I'm gonna say yes.
I feel like we're gonna have this debate every time. It was harder with Newfound Glory, but like, I don't know. I feel like
they weren't pop punk.
I feel like the only emo act is Conor Oberst. Like to me, that is emo.
Well, there's always the old guard who's just like in circles, which there's a time and place for sure, stemming from the DC hardcore scene. But obviously, the 2000s were different. That's what we explore on the show. I think are they 2000s emo? Yes.
Yeah. We'll call it.
Cool. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Sure.
I do feel self-conscious because I claim that Fall Out Boy is one of my favorite bands, but I only really love half of their first two albums, which like, I don't know. There's something about it that like some songs.
You should try Infinity. This is me attempting to be a Sherpa for you. I think there's like something about that album that you might enjoy.
Okay. Well, let's give a song of the week. So at the time of recording, Grayscale put out Umbra yesterday. The song Live Again is absolutely gnarly. I've listened to that album. I think I listened to it like 3 times on the way here, the drive here. The song is nuts. It has like a church choir at the end, and it's just I hate the phrase all the feels, so I'm not even gonna say it. Other than just that one time, it is just intense. There's something about it that just stirs my heart and is hard to live the same day you were living before you heard it.
Okay. I didn't have a chance to look it up on my phone while you were gabbing away. No. What's the So Don't Let Me Drift song off of
The
Chunk record? Because you got me into the Chunk record and now I'm So don't let me.
Oh, is it called Drift Away?
Yeah. Anyway. We've done Bitter as a song of the week before, so I won't pick that. But the 1-2 punch to start that record. We talked about it recently as what are our albums of the year in parentheses so far, as outlets like to use as a headline. But give me that song. It's I'm in. You've convinced me.
It's so good.
It's really good.
That album is absolutely incredible. The first 5 songs are just fucking flawless, dude. One of my albums of the year for sure, which we just answered on the AMA the other day.
You want to talk about Jared Catoni in the post show?
Yeah, what were we going to say? I already forget.
I was going to end the episode.
Okay.
No, it'll be about our first attempt at recording a demo.
Okay.
And our friends being polite enough to tell us that like it wasn't the best thing. Anyway, if you're here, we love you. Thanks.
Love you all. Bye. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that episode. Please feel free to flame us on Twitter @_reminiscentfm. I can already see all of your nasty tweets, and let me tell you, folks, I am ready for them. If you want to support the show, again, please head to patreon.com/reminiscent, where you can get tons of exclusive content and early access to all of the episodes. Thank you all so much for listening to the show. It truly means the world. Really psyched to talk to you on Twitter. We love you all. Talk to you next week. Bye, everyone.